Without a whole lot of fanfare, BMW has slipped yet another model into its Australian lineup. Sitting next to existing coupe and convertible variants, the 4 Series Gran Coupe follows the template established by the previous gen version. It's a sports luxury 4-door with a sleek fastback twist, providing a more adventurous alternative to its close 3 Series cousin. Offered in 3 grades, this is the M440i xDrive, the 3-litre 6-cylinder all-wheel drive 4 Series Gran Coupe flagship. It competes with premium all-wheel drive 4-doors like Audi's S5 Sportback, the Jaguar XF P300R Dynamic HSE, and the Mercedes-AMG C43. But before we get into the details, if you want to jump ahead, here are the time codes. And if you're watching on YouTube, the chapter markers are in the timeline below. You can find the link to my detailed written review in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And if you are and haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and click that bell icon so you can stay on top of all our latest videos. But first up, how does this 4-door 4 Series differ from a 4-door 3 Series? The answer is as plain as the nose on this car's face. BMW's head of design, Adrian van Hooijdonk, has been expanding the brand's signature kidney grille in every conceivable direction. And this is the much talked about interpretation that's been applied to all 4 Series models and the M3 sedan. The new Gran Coupe is longer, wider and taller than the outgoing model, and the track is broader front and rear. The wheelbase has also been extended, now a whole 5mm longer than the 3 Series. The DRLs and main beams are LED with laser high beams, and these immense gills square up the front of the car. This vent and the strake attached to it stand the car apart, and of course, the doors are frameless. One little niggle though are these very slender door handles. Especially in the wet, it's hard to get a grip. If you're growing those fingernails, I think they'd be breaking off straight away. The 19-inch rims are wrapped with Pirelli P0 rubber, and of course the roofline slopes distinctly towards the rear. This built-in spoiler on the edge of the tailgate is classic BMW, and the darkened LED taillights wrap around the corner of the car. There's also a diffuser type panel in the centre here with large exhaust apertures on either side. Our car's Aventurian red finish is a close to $4,000 option, but to my eyes anyway, it looks superb. Exterior trim including the grille frame, front air intake inserts, mirror upper housings, model designation badges and tailpipe apertures are finished in cerium grey, which I reckon 99.9% of people will see as black. The interior will be familiar territory for any current BMW owner. The 12.3-inch digital instrument screen sitting in a compact hooded binnacle and partnering with a 10.25-inch multimedia display standing proud of the dash above the broad centre stack. These sports front seats, like the chairs in the rear, are trimmed in top shelf leather with blue contrast stitching. The grippy sports steering wheel is also trimmed in genuine hide. And BMW calls the metallic finish on these trim elements and buttons galvanic, which translates to a shiny brushed metal look and feel. Configurable ambient interior lighting is a nice touch, and the broad console enhances the driver-focused feel up front, with a sprinkling of carbon fibre around the centre console and dash, lifting the sense of occasion. Overall, the interior feels clean and classy with an obvious attention to detail. We're in a price zone somewhere north of 100k here, and as well as the powertrain, suspension and safety tech that we'll talk about shortly, you should rightfully be expecting a solid bunch of standard features, and this car goes toe-to-toe with its primo European competitors. The full details are in my written review at carsguide.com.au, but the highlights are 3-zone climate control air, adaptive cruise control, the laser light headlights, that BMW Live Cockpit Professional instrument display and control display multimedia touchscreen, managing navigation, the 16-speaker 464-watt Harman Kardon surround sound audio system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, and a host of other onboard functions. There's also the Vernasca black leather trim, an electric glass sunroof, a leather-trimmed sports steering wheel, the electric sports front seats are heated, and there's wireless charging for compatible devices. The M440i Gran Coupe is covered by BMW's 3-year unlimited kilometre warranty, including paintwork, as well as 12-year unlimited kilometre anti-corrosion cover. That main warranty is well off the premium market pace now, with Audi, Genesis, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus and Mercedes-Benz at 5 years unlimited kilometres. Service is condition-based, the car telling you when maintenance is required, and a range of service packages are available. The basic plan covering a 4 Series for 5 years, 80,000 kilometres coming in under $2,000. For all the details, check my written review on the CarsGuide site. At close to 4.8 metres long, the 4 Series Gran Coupe is a sizable machine. Up front, the feeling is quite airy and spacious, and there's plenty of room in the back as well, which is impressive given the car's sloping roofline. I'm 183 centimetres tall and had to fold myself up reasonably tightly to get in here. But once inside, sitting behind the driver's seat set for my position, there's plenty of leg and toe room and adequate headroom. Gotta say though, put 3 full-size adults across here and there will be breathing difficulties. Kids will be fine though, and individual vents with adjustable temp in the rear was a big plus during a particularly hot and humid test week. There are numerous power, connectivity and storage options. The details are in my review on the site. Lift the tailgate, and with the rear seat upright, we were able to fit all 3 of our standard suitcases or the bulky CarsGuide pram into the healthy boot space. Fold the rear seat down and close to 1,300 litres is at your disposal. You can also tow a brake trailer up to 1.8 tonnes, but don't bother looking for a spare of any description. A repair inflator kit is your only option. Active crash avoidance tech in the M440i Gran Coupe is impressive, with AEB standard, as well as lots of assistance and warnings, namely steering and lane control assistant, cross-traffic warning front and rear, lane keeping assistant with lane departure warning and lane change warning, crossroads warning, evasion assistant, and parking assistant plus, including 3D surround view and reversing assistant. If an impact is unavoidable, there are 6 airbags on board, as well as 3 top tethers and 2 ISOFIX positions for child seats in the second row. Plus, an intelligent emergency call function automatically dials back to base when the car's been involved in a crash, and there's a full first aid kit on board as well. Under the bonnet is an all-alloy, twin-scroll turbo intercooled inline 6-cylinder engine, driving all 4 wheels through an 8-speed transmission and a central clutch pack with an electronic limited slip differential at the rear. It features high-pressure direct injection and BMW's Valvetronic system managing airflow to the intake side to produce 285 kilowatts at a relatively high 5,800 to 6,500 RPM. But the big punch is 500 Newton meters of peak torque from just 1,900 RPM all the way to 5,000 RPM. The M440i is also a mild hybrid with a 48-volt starter motor generator and supplementary battery able to give an 8 kilowatt kick at low engine speeds. The official combined cycle fuel consumption figure for the M440i xDrive Gran Coupe is 8.2 litres per 100 kilometres. Stop-start is standard, and we saw an average of 11.1 litres per 100 kilometres over city, B-road and freeway running during a week with the car. With the 59-litre tank brimmed, with minimum 95 RON premium unleaded, that real-world number translates to a range of around 530 kilometres. BMW says this car will accelerate from 0 to 100 km/h in 4.7 seconds. And I call anything under 5 seconds properly rapid, and this car is. You're dealing with 285 kilowatts of peak power, which happens quite high in the rev range, but the big number is 500 Newton meters of turbo-driven torque. And it just feels like it's available from right at the bottom to right at the top. It is a very broad plateau, but you've just always got this urge under your right foot. And the exhaust, particularly in the sport mode, sounds growly and nicely raspy. There's some synthetic support, but I suppose we can live with that. The pops and bangs that you get on the overrun just add to the entertainment. The transmission is an 8-speed auto, but it gets some support from the mild hybrid system. Just a little push between each change on the way up the ratios. And so the changes are pretty much seamless and really quick. It's as if you're getting all the benefits of a dual clutch auto in a conventional torque converter setup. So the suspension is double wishbones at the front, which is impressive, and multi-links at the rear. And of course you have the adaptive dampers, and the switch between, for example, comfort and sport is really quick and quite distinct. I've found in driving this car that when you're setting up the individual sport setting, the suspension in comfort is best with the engine, transmission and steering in sport. That way you get this beautiful combination. It's not as if the car's floaty at all. If you really want to have a go, by all means, go to Sport or Sport Plus. You'll get a much firmer ride. But put the comfort and the others in sport and the car just flows so beautifully through a twisting section. Very well buttoned down and lots of fun to drive. These front sport seats are great. These are the optional M Sport seats for an extra $2K. But BMW really knows how to focus on the driver and create an ergonomically efficient environment. Everything that you need is well placed and straightforward to use. The variable ratio steering is electrically assisted and it provides good road feel, and it's nicely weighted. This car's 1.9 tons, but it doesn't feel it. It feels light on its feet and quite nimble. The xDrive all-wheel drive system is the default setting favors the rear. You know, it'll push right up to the front if it needs to, but typically it's biased towards the back. And you've also got an electronically controlled limited slip diff. And I've got a favorite corner that's a very tight uphill left-hander. Head into that in a low gear, plant the throttle mid-corner, and there's no drama, no fuss or scrabble. It just puts its power down and goes. It works very well. One annoyance is the lane departure warning function, which is too quick to intervene and overly intrusive when it does so. I turned the steering intervention function off, and you can dial down steering wheel vibration warnings as well. The M Sport brakes feature big ventilated rotors front and rear, and there are 4-piston fixed calipers up front. So it's pretty easy to grease in a smooth application. They feel strong, but they're not aggressive. They don't bite on application or release. The BMW M440i xDrive Gran Coupe manages to combine sleek design with a fun-to-drive personality and surprising practicality. It's a rapid, premium, 4-door, 5-seater with some extra flair, and in this part of the market, good value. But more than anything else, it has a cracking 6-cylinder engine under that bonnet. Less uns gehens!